Hi everybody, I'm Morgan.crosbie from Finch Chevrolet and you're watching Cars and Crosby. I've got a Corvette episode and it's a good one. You've got a lot of things that you're going to be learning today. I hope you guys are ready. We are going to go all out with information from the National Corvette Museum, from the NCM Bash, and then we're also going to give you an update on a really cool Corvette that I have in the showroom here. And last but definitely not least, I have 4 Corvettes on the way. I've got 2 of them that are on a truck in Toledo right now. I just finished tracking it. And then I've got another 2 that are all the way up in Flint, Michigan. So it looks like he's taking the northern route to Ontario. And I'm excited to show you what those 4 Corvettes have on them. We're going to do a walk around. Now, one of the things that I'm most excited to talk about has to do with the final consensus numbers that they're starting to report for the 21 model year. So that is the final allocation of the builds that have happened for this generation, this model year. And there's some interesting stuff to pass along. I'm going to talk first about the colors. Torch Red still takes the cake with being the #1 choice. It has 20% of the market share. And what's interesting is that only 5% down from where it was last model year, where it was at 25. And most of that I thought was going to come from Red Mist, but it wasn't. Red Mist Metallic took 3rd place with 13%. So it only got 5% of the Torch Reds. The rest of it came from other colors. 2nd place was Arctic White, and 4th place was Black. Now, this total amount that we're talking about right now is based on April 1st with all the orders that were either in the system that were not built, or were in transit, or were already delivered to a customer. So 19,362 Corvettes are part of this data set that we're talking about today, and that gives us enough information to talk about it. I know that there's a lot of ambiguity about if there's going to be more 21 model years that are going to be added on. At this point, I would say it's safe to say that GM has enough on their plate that they're trying to finish off with this model year, and if we did get a couple more, that would be a great surprise, but I don't want to get anyone's hopes up in thinking that they're still going to get a 21 model year if their order has not been accepted. So on to some other exciting things. We've got more combinations that I really want to pass along that really give you an idea of the demeanor of your Corvette. Me keeping in mind, you know, the broadband of this Corvette is so amazing that the suspension is going to be where most of that character is going to come from. And so I want to break down with you guys the suspensions that people are choosing on the 21 model year. The first off is your FE1. This is your cruiser suspension. It has no Z51 package on it. And 23% of the people out there chose the FE1 suspension. Now, the new suspension for this year is the FE1 with mag ride. That is an FE2 suspension, and it was only 8%. It's a new one. There's not a lot of people out there that are going to want to change up the suspension if they're going for a price point and getting a value build. I see a lot of value in mag ride. It's actually probably one of my favorite options to add on to a Corvette, as it really does help out in more than just softening up the ride. There's a lot of applications, and I have some videos on it. I even have one called Flying Car Mode. There's a really exciting mode that you have inside of your mag ride, but you have things like launch control, performance traction management. Those are great assets that have had years of innovations and developments into its 4th generation of being used. The second one is an FE3. This is a Z51 suspension without mag ride. 23% of you chose that, and I'm very happy to report that 46% of all the Corvettes were the FE4. That is where you have a Z51 and you're also choosing mag ride. It's great to see that a lot of people are choosing the Z51 package. It's even better that people are adding that mag ride to that, as it'll give you a lot more use and versatility. This is more of your weekend warrior, where you want to have it as a daily driver and you still want to have the ability to go to the track. But even when you're on the track, there's a lot of applications that mag ride are going to help out with in giving feedback to the car and making it so that it can go around the track a little bit better. Now, one thing that Taj and a lot of the people at the Bowling Green facility, Kai in particular, were very surprised at the initial numbers, and it still is consistent to this day, is the amount of people that are choosing the convertible option. Obviously, when the Corvette first came out, it was only in convertible, so that would have been the first time that it was the best. There was no other coupe option. Taj was even referring, Kai was even referring to that when the coupe option came available. That was the last time that convertible numbers were as high as they were right now. 41% of you guys are choosing the convertible option, which is pretty remarkable. Almost half of all the C8's are now being a hardtop convertible. The two-tone interior was 16%, and suede, which I thought would be a very low number, was 18%. That's really interesting to see. The front lift option still is a very popular option as well, with 61% of the people out there choosing the front lift. And then little things like the interior, black was the most common. The accent colors in black were low numbers, and then Adrenaline Red was a quarter of you guys also, so 25% were in the Adrenaline Red. Now on to the colors. I've had some on-scene live reporters giving me feedback. I've been watching Rick Conti's episode that he had air already from the NCM Bash. I talked to Mike Furman as well, and I'm excited to tell you guys that there is some interesting news to go on about these new colors. We have them right here. I've got the Hypersonic Gray, Amplify Orange, and Caffeine. There's a lot of interesting things to talk about. Let's get right into it and just talk about Amplify Orange. Mike Furman was referring to this as being a pastel color, very similar to Rapid Blue. It's going to have no metal flake in it like it did with the Sebring Orange. That was our first look, the Sebring Orange, at what the paint shop had to do with its new upgrades. And I'm excited to see a pastel come about. I think it's going to be very easy to complement that in black. It's going to definitely pop, and it'll give that feel that it's still a very exotic vehicle. There is a very big difference between the colors when you see them together. So don't just think that we're going from an orange to the orange. Obviously, they're both orange, but there's a lot of differences in that. The Caffeine, I'm getting a lot of interesting feedback on this one. This one's creating a lot of controversy, and I'm excited about that. I'm very, optimistic that this is just going to be, the fact that people are cautious and apprehensive. And also keep in mind, this photo was taken inside, and it doesn't really have any light on what it would be like in the outside, and then even further than that, just what it would look like if it was on the entire Corvette. I did have some insight from the mid-engine Corvette forum that it was one of the very popular options that people were choosing, and there was a poll, and it was one of the highest that was voted on there. It was also interesting, one of the people on there commented that this is the most metallic flake that they've ever put inside of a Corvette color, and it also has mica as well. There was 4 different kinds of metallic flake that they put inside of it, which is very interesting to see. Now the last one is your Hypersonic Gray. This one is very similar to Silver Flare, a lot of the guys were saying, but I think what people are forgetting is that Silver Flare has that orangish tone to it, whereas this is going to have more of a gunmetal finish to it. So it's going to have more of just a gray finish. It's a lot lighter than the Shadow Gray, which it replaced. It's probably the most light gray that we've had in a while, and I don't think a lot of people have made this point out yet. We have 2 grays now. I have Ceramic Matrix Gray, and that is gray apparently, and now we have this gray. So now we have 2 different grays to choose from. I know that's not really the case. We would more consider mine to be white, but it'll be very interesting to see what accents with it. With it being a subtle tone, I think this is going to be my favorite one of them all, because it's going to be very easy for us to be able to use a lot of very bright accents with this, and for it to not clash with the 2 colors. I'm thinking that the blue, Twilight Blue interior and the Tension Blue package will be good. The Morello will look pretty awesome with that. Obviously black is going to do well as an accent, but I'm very excited to see what kind of combinations come with the new gray, as I think that that's going to be the best one. Now we have 4 Corvettes that are on their way. I wanted to film this stuff before they came in, but before we finish up, I am going to go out into the showroom here, and I just want to show you some updates on a black Corvette that we've been working on. We got a lot of suggestions in terms of what names we should name it. I'll pass along some of the suggestions that we've had on that, and also show you some updates that we've been doing on it. So stay tuned, we've got a lot more to cover today. Okay, I've got Black Beauty, Black Widow, Batmobile. There's so many good names to choose from. We haven't finalized it on it yet, but here she is. We've got an awesome light system here around the Corvette and the beautiful Canadian sun coming through the front. We've got a lot to talk about. First things first, we have the 5VM package on here, and I do have these readily available in stock, so if you guys are looking at getting one, I can easily help you out with that. A little bit of an Easter egg, or a little bit of a heads up, I do know that ACS Composites is in the process of developing a rocker panel system that doesn't have this big lip here. If you're wanting a more sleek, clean design that's finished in carbon flash metallic, ACS Composites is going to have one out very shortly, which will go with their version of the 5VM, which is in carbon flash metallic as well. That'll be great to be able to have a cost-effective solution instead of doing either the GM one that has these big lips or even just an exposed carbon fiber version. Now, the exposed carbon fiber mirror caps came finally in, and we also have the RSC rear spoiler on here. But another topic that we want to talk about is now we have another solution that's from General Motors in terms of the rear spoiler. They have a low profile spoiler that's coming out. There's some photos that you'll see online, and it's nowhere near as aggressive as this one. It was just more of like a little bump. It's not even as aggressive as a C7 generation little spoiler that was on them. It's just a little bit of an accent, and I think that might be a popular option for people to accent on their vehicle if they're not looking to go as aggressive as the Z51 option. Now here is what I want to update you guys on. This has been a big thing that a lot of people have been talking about, which is the exhaust on the Corvette. Here is an AWE system. This is a system out of Pennsylvania. They're a company that mainly focuses originally on water-cooled Porsches and a lot of the European stuff. And so I'm very familiar, or they're very familiar with what to do when there's an engine in the back. And we put this 3-inch exhaust. This is the street exhaust on here. But the nice thing about this system is that if you wanted to convert it to the track version, all you need to do is take out this middle section here, and you can do it with this AWE system. A lot of people are not a big fan of the square exhaust tips that are on a regular OEM C8, and so this is definitely going to be a big upgrade. These are a 3-inch tip on here, which is pretty remarkable. Now, another company that has an exhaust system that I have has caught my attention is the Corsa exhaust and their heat shielding wraps that they do on there. If you notice in the back here, there's a lot of very bright reflective heat shielding, and Corsa came up with a really smart design. They came out with a heat shield that was all matte black, kind of like which is on already the exhaust from General Motors. And that helps with keeping that reflection that you can see of all this exhaust out of here. It was a really smart design that I thought, really deserved a shout out. I still haven't chosen who I'm gonna use for my exhaust system. I still haven't even heard this one yet because I was away every single time that it's been done. The install on it was done flawlessly. I talked to our technicians in the back and they had nothing really to report in terms of how the installation went. And I'm excited to see what you guys have to say in terms of feedback on that. I know that there is a lot of people out there that are, not wanting to open up the Corvette too much. That's something that I'm still on the fence about doing. Obviously, it's going to cost me money, so that's another thing that I'm using as an excuse, is I just don't want to spend the kind of money to do that yet, but we'll see how it goes. Now, the last update on these Vossen rims, we had a little bit of rubbing at first, but what we used is a tool that we use when we clean the brakes. It's like a metal brush that we put on the end of a drill that helps clean the surfaces. We just put that on here, brushed it down just a bit, and that was the easiest way to just get rid of that little rubbing. There was no damage to the tire in any way. It's just a minute amount, but anytime you have a Corvette, you want to make sure that you do it properly. So hopefully these Corvettes are going to be arriving shortly. I'm just going to go check the tracking system, and then we got some cool new models to show you on what's coming out. One down. David here is a first time we've ever met David. David is a new driver to the channel. We haven't seen him yet. And we've got the proud owner of the Corvette right over here as well. This is Malik. Malik is picking up his Corvette for the first time. What do you think so far, man?
It's like a dream. The color, it's amazing, it's wow.
David, how are you? I just want to catch a quick minute, say hi to everyone on the channel. I'm excited to hear all the new adventures that you've had. You've been doing this for about 5 or 6 years with the Corvette?
Yes.
And how long have you been doing trucking in general?
Since 95.
Wow, very cool. So can you tell us anything about the plant right now? Is it full? Is it busy? What are you seeing?
It's pretty busy.
Yeah?
Yep.
Now, you were telling me one thing about the differences between the C7 and the C8. What was that one observation you made?
That the manual transmissions have gone away, and the weight in the back of these, when it's a little bit wet out, they used to would slip, but now they come off pretty good.
Wow, okay, that's very cool. So overall, you're very happy with how this is going on the new generation?
Oh yeah, they're definitely cool.
Well, Dave, I just got one thing over here. Sorry. I got a new gift for everybody. These are some maple syrup flavored chocolates. Oh, awesome. Just to remind you of how appreciative we are of everything. I want to make sure we give you that Canadian touch, and thank you very much for everything you do. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you.
So we're gonna let David take the second one off of this truck, and then we're gonna go through the unwrappings on these ones. The other truck is still in Flint, Michigan. There's a facility in Flint, Michigan where we bake our HD trucks, and I creeping them on the YouTube or the Google Maps. So I was wondering what was going on with the second shipment. And maybe he got a flat tire or something like that, but it looks like he's in the Flint, Michigan Jack Cooper facility. I don't know what's going on with that, but we've got 2 Corvettes here. That's enough for us to have some fun today. I'm very excited to unwrap these ones. And then it looks like tomorrow, or maybe later on today, we'll be getting that second shipment of Corvettes in. So let's go through this one and just see all the things that we've got going on. Round 2, here we go. I'm excited to see what we got on this one. I tell you, with this job, I become a traffic guard. There's a lot of things that you can be as a car salesman. I can keep my eyes out for this guy and let him get parked in. All right, you know what I haven't done in a while? I haven't picked apart the builds on a truck in a while. I thought it'd be a cool idea. First and foremost, we've got the most popular rim option for the 20 model year we were just talking about. This is in Arctic White with a dual Indy racing stripe, I can see. We've got the Spectra gray rims on a edge red metallic caliper on a black Corvette. Then we've got a torch red with the split soles. This was the second most popular rim option with the most popular option caliper, which was the bright red. And then up here, you can see it bright and clear. There is a Accelerate yellow Corvette with the edge yellow calipers. We've got this one here, which is one of our Corvettes that's coming off. This is an Elkhart. And then we've got, again, another white one up there, a torch red, and then we finally have this one as well, which we'll be unveiling and showing you all the fun things on right after we unwrap it. Our second one off the truck. Now I'm going to introduce you guys to a new driver. We've got 2 new drivers today. Everybody, I just want to introduce you to a fellow Canuck. It's not every day I got a fellow Canuck coming to deliver. This is Gary. Gary, tell us about this whole process. You were just talking about some of the weight issues that you guys have with having 60% of it in the back. Tell me a little bit of that when you're loading up your truck here.
Well, we tend to put a couple of them in on backwards because the engine being in the back end of the car puts the weight on the trailer, so we want to put it up onto the tractor. So it kind of helps us out putting a couple of them on backwards, even though we don't like to, but that's what we have to do sometimes.
Well, that's awesome. I feel kind of funny giving this to you as you're all already a fellow Canuck, but we got some maple syrup Canadian stuff just to remind you of the good old boys back home. Yeah. Thank you so much for everything you do, man. I can't tell you how much I appreciate this, and keep up the awesome work. You made that look easy.
Yeah, well, it's not as easy as everybody thinks.
Oh, I believe it. I know. How long you been doing this, man?
24 years.
Holy moly. Well, thank you so much, man. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Are you going to Ingersoll next, or what do you got going on?
Oh, I think I'm going to Listowel.
Oh, very cool. Well, there's some lucky folks in Listowel. Awesome. We're going to unwrap these, so thank you very much, and stay tuned for more awesome content. Drive safe, buddy. All right, buddy. Thanks a lot, buddy. I'll see you around. There he goes. On to the next adventure. Some lucky folks in Listowel, Ontario getting their Corvette, especially that bright one. Look at that. Isn't that bright and shiny right through the coverings? It's so bright. It's awesome. I love it. All right, let's start unwrapping these babies and see what we got. All right, guys, it's been a long day. Holy moly. We've had a lot of things go on. I had a delivery go out. We had Corvettes come in. We've got a lot of things going on, and I just want to show you what I've got going on in the shop right now. Phil's just finishing up with the first one, and well, let's see what we got here. All right, I just checking and seeing. Phil's working late tonight. Thank you very much, Phil, for helping us out with this. So how did the install go on the Z51 spoiler?
Pretty good, really easy.
So this is something that if you're looking at getting a non-Z51, you can still make it look pretty awesome. In Canadian dollars, it's a $7,000 option to be able to get the Z51 package where you get this spoiler. So if you don't see a lot of benefits in the limited slip differential, the performance exhaust, the upgraded brakes, the suspension changes, that's something that you can still do after the fact. You're not going to have the bigger brakes. You're not going to have the more aggressive tires on it. But if you're looking to have that appearance of the Z51, we can accommodate that. We have these spoilers that are in the parts department, and we drill into the actual bed of it. You'll see it in the montage that I'll be doing for this episode. And Phil, how long did it take you to do? It didn't look like it was that hard when I was filming.
No, it's roughly about an hour and a half process. Like, it's really not that bad. You gotta take your time and you're good to go, right? Just trickiest part is lining up the template for the spoilers.
Key is take your time. Phil is one of my favorite guys in terms of being able to know that something's going to be done properly, because he does take his time and he has that passion that I have in terms of making sure that we kind of go above and beyond, because this isn't something that's on a regular Corvette menu, and we want to make sure that we can accommodate you guys if you're coming from out of town, or maybe you're already a client of mine and you're looking at getting some work done. So thanks a lot for that, Phil. We're going to go on to the next one. All right, let's go on to the next one. I've got another one in the shop over here. This is the Rapid Blue one. And while we're on our way here, we've got a pretty awesome truck that's getting some pretty sick tires. This reminds me of an episode of Mad Max, you know, where he's trying to maybe shave off the tires from another person. That is the most aggressive tire rim option I've ever seen. Wow, that's pretty crazy. All right, over here we've got the Rapid Blue one. We just did a dual clutch transmission top up on it. You get another nice little look at the exposed airbox and just all that carbon fiber composites that you see throughout the Corvette. It's pretty remarkable how much space you have back here, even with all the stuff that's going on mechanically. I'm a big fan. So right off the bat, we can tell that this has got an FE4 suspension because it has the magnetic ride control system there. This is Rapid Blue. We've got ourselves a transparent top. We've got black interior with a nice yellow accent because we've got edge yellow for the calipers. Now these base rims are not going to be on here very long. We've got a set of Vostons that are going to be going on there, so we'll show you that in the follow-up episode. And then also just keep in mind that this is the most popular rim option, not because it's the most popular for people, but because they're free. And so if you are looking at upgrading your Corvette rims, a lot of people are going to be doing that. So don't think that everyone else is a big fan of these rims and that's why they've been doing it. It's more often than not a situation like this where they're going to be upgrading the rims. They just don't want to have an added expense to it. So we got a lot of nice things going on this one in terms of making it accented and looking sharp. I'm very excited to see all of the stuff that we end up doing to it, and we'll show you that in the follow-up episode. And now, part 2 is on the second truck that we got. I just finished unwrapping them. And again, we will be featuring all the stuff on these as well, going over them in a final walkthrough, but I always want to make sure that I shoot an episode of them now when it arrives. So if you are in the local area, you're looking at confirming that this may be a combination that you're looking at doing, that you can see it while it's still here at the dealership. Now this is Elkhart, but it has the body color to match option on it. So the little pedestrian protectors right here, these inserts on the front grille, those are done in Elkhart. Then over here we have the boomerang intakes. These are also done in Elkhart. And then the last ones over here, these are done in Elkhart. And we've also got the Corvette script going on in blue. So we've gone with a very blue theme with this one. And this is a 3LT coupe. So we have a 3LT in black with the baseball stitching. Now this is something that I do want to point out. The blue seatbelts did not go as much as we thought it would. I think that's going to be more of a Rapid Blue option. Or maybe if you have a black interior or exterior. It's going to be fine. We'll live with it. I know that this isn't going to be always a perfect thing, but this is an important thing to be pointing out. You know, these seatbelts, they are a lot brighter blue than before, but you know what? The outside of the car is blue, so I think that the theme will still be fine. Maybe we'll get it a little tarnished up so it's a little bit less bright of a blue, but you guys know what I'm talking about with trying to get that consistent design language. And on this one, I'm pretty happy with it so far. There's a lot of cool things that we have going on a couple of these. Rims, for example, that's a really big one. That's what we've been focusing on a lot lately. This here is our second Silver Flare, and it has an Adrenaline red interior. This is a 2LT coupe, and I'm really excited about seeing this combination in particular because, you know, on the Blade Silver, which was the color that was before our go-to silver. It was really good for accenting a lot of bright colors. So if you had, you know, a blue interior, or if you had the adrenaline red, or if you did the black with yellow stitching, it did really well with having an accent. And I'm excited to say that I feel that Silver Flare is still going to be able to do that job at being a very neutral tone. Like I was kind of saying with that hypersonic gray, you know, it's a nice color to start off with, and then to be able to accent it with some bright, vibrant colors. And I'm very excited to see what kind of combinations some people will come up with on the Silver Flare as well. So that's all for this first part of the episode. I've just been so happy about all the experiences so far. These customers that come in, they've got so much energy, and it really gives me even more energy than I already have. And I'm just as excited as you guys are that your Corvettes are arriving, and I have so much enthusiasm for it. I've got a lot on my plate, obviously, with having 4 Corvettes arrive right now. So I'm going to be working on getting these ones all ready to go, and I will be shooting a follow-up episode. In that follow-up episode, I'm going to be very excited to also pass on my synopsis of the NCM Bash. I just learned from Keith Cornett of Corvette Blogger that the full live presentation from Kai, and then also the other one from the National Corvette Museum, have been uploaded to the YouTube page. So that's what I'll be doing tonight. I'll be watching those and excited to learn more things about what is going on at the Corvette facility. Overall, from what I've been hearing, it wasn't too eventful, but that, in my opinion, is a really good thing. It means that they're working on a lot of exciting stuff, and I'm excited to pass along if I have any information, or maybe if I interpreted something in a certain way, in passing it on in the delivery episodes of these beautiful Corvettes that we have here. So if you guys already haven't done that, if you're wanting to see these or more content like it, hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out. If you like the video, hit a like button. And then if you want to be notified that I have more content coming through the pipes, hit that bell notification. I'm Morgan Crosbie, and happy motoring.